Bill Aucoin, the real, original rock and roll manager impresario.
Bill was a visionary.
A giant, a legend.
A rock and roll legend.
Just a larger-than-life presence.
A major influence on the music industry.
Bold and fearless.
Thought outside of the box.
But even more than that.
He was much finer a man.
And very sharp.
Handsome, dapper, charming.
A sweet, sweet soul.
Charming, bright, creative, loving.
Kind, generous.
He was a mentor and a father figure.
And the biggest heart.
And with the biggest heart.
The kindest and biggest heart of anyone you had ever met.
Bill Aucoin, God rest his soul.
You're classic for the face that you wear, the patience that you give, and the knowledge that you share. You're much less than modern, royal as a queen. You're a libertine, that's why I like you. Now let me say, you're classic. Believe me, I know you're kind, you're classic. But when you come around, take me with you. La da 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 da.
I'm happy to be here, but I'm really sad because, I was very close to Bill, not so much towards the, let me get rid of this gum, not towards the end of his life, but, obviously most of my career, I think Bill was responsible for KISS taking off the way we did. He had a lot of insight, he gave great direction. And it's unfortunate that down the road we parted company. I wasn't really happy about that whole situation, but things happen. Rather than talking about all the time I've known Bill, let's talk about the last time I saw Bill, which was in 2008. He came to see me perform at the House of Blues on the Sunset Strip in California. And it was so good to see him, and he was so full of life like he always is, and everybody who knows Bill, he's the kind of guy, he's always bubbly, he's always up, he's always smiling, and if you are down, he's going to bring you up. And he came back after the show, we hung out for a while, and it was just great seeing him, and I had no idea he was even sick, and no one told me, so, it was a big shock to me, but I'm really happy I could be here. Bill was the kind of guy, he was always impeccably dressed. And the one thing that always stuck in my mind was, before we really hit it big, Bill would always be walking around in suits, and, really expensive suits and shoes, before I even knew how to dress. And I learned a lot from Bill, because we used to raid his closet back at his apartment. In fact, that's what we did for the cover of Dress to Kill. But I'll never forget, it was before our big hit album Alive, and we were still struggling financially. And he came down to rehearsal, and we're having a problem with the levitating drum kit. And we had just spent a lot of money on it. And I'm kind of mechanically inclined, and I was ready to get down there and start, rolling up my sleeves and, digging into why this thing isn't working properly. And Bill took off his jacket and rolled up his sleeves and grabbed a wrench and said, "Let me get in on this." And it was so out of character for Bill, but it's something that's stuck in my mind, ever since that happened. He was also the kind of guy that would give you the shirt off his back. And he, I remember coming to him on many occasions depressed about this, or, I'm having a fight with one of my girlfriends. He was always there. He was that kind of guy. We had some great times together, some great parties, which I don't need to elaborate on, but you'll probably read about it in my book, because I just signed a deal with Simon & Schuster. Anyway, I'm just so happy I can be here for Bill, and I see there's a lot of people here that there's a lot of love in everybody's eyes, because Bill was the kind of guy that, you know, once you met him, you never forgot him. He was just a great human being, and always fun to be around. And I'm sure he's going to be missed greatly. And thanks everybody for coming. I'm glad I can be here. Thank you.
Great to see everybody here. I'm sure Bill would be really happy. This is the kind of thing he dug. He hated people depressed and uptight and not happy. He had to be the happiest guy I ever met in my life. When I met him, I didn't think he was a great manager, to be really honest with you, because I was a little older than the other guys, and I'd seen so many managers in my life that were full of shit that I thought, here comes another one. But he proved me wrong. You know, we got to know each other, and I said, I have a dream. And my dream was to play Madison Square Garden for my mom and dad, and my wife at the time. And he made it happen. We were in the garden that night. He came, we hugged, and he said, well, I guess our dreams are fulfilled. He had the same damn dream I had, and that's kind of how Bill was. He was never down. He called me recently, and I saved the message. It was about 7 months ago. It seems like it was yesterday. To congratulate me that I beat cancer, breast cancer I had, and my wife had cancer at the same time. I don't know what the odds of that are, two people getting cancer at the same time, but we are cancer-free today, at least for today anyway. And so, but the way, you know, he had a way of, you know what, he's right, he has a way of making you feel young and strong and positive, and everything he would say on the phone to me made me feel like I was 20 years old again. And I saved the message, and I'm going to take it off that stupid disc and make a disc of it and keep it, because you'll never see anyone like him again on this planet. There was very few guys like Bill. He was one of a kind. There was people like Neil Bogart and Sean Delaney and a lot of other people that helped Kiss make it to today. And today I would not have the great life I had. I would not be famous if not for Bill. He was the fifth Kiss, and I will miss him dearly. Thank you.
Guy was the perfect manager for Kiss. He had a certain level of class and elegance. He was always dressed in a suit. He was well-spoken. He was very articulate and very sharp. And he was sort of a cold killer in contrast to the band's hot, passionate, crazy image. So that between them both, they were a really formidable force. I actually really enjoyed doing business with Guy. I thought he was a sensible guy and very knowledgeable, and he was a good partner all the way up until the end of Destroyer, where he decided that I hadn't done a very good job and decided to go and hire my protege, Jack Douglas, to do the next record. But that's another story.
Hi, everybody. It's David Olson from Megadeth, and thank you so much for including me here. And I just want to give a big shout out to Bill Aucoin, to his legacy, to his family. So much of what you see behind me, the awards I've been given in my life, are a direct result of the influence that I got from the bands and the artists that Bill Aucoin managed, in particular Kiss, even Stars, and of course Billy Idol. So much of what I learned how to do in this industry, I learned from learning from the bands that Bill managed. And so much, the merchandising, the live show, just so much of it is just absolutely fantastic. So thank you to Bill, and a great way to commemorate his life and his life's work. Thank you so much.
My good friend, Bill Aucoin, who I never called Bill, I called him Guy. Guy, short for Guillaume. Never called him Bill once. He managed my band Stars, as you all probably know. Was a great, great friend, great guy, life of the party, always a smile on his face, always lifted everyone up by being around him. You know, you were always lifted up. And I'm glad we had disconnected for a period of time, but I'm so glad that we basically stayed friends for all those years. And I miss him. He's a good guy.
Hi, everyone. Mark Weiss here. In 1983, Bill had me come to his office in Olympic Towers to show my portfolio to him. He wanted me to photograph Billy Idol's tattoo for his new stationery. I got the job, and on the elevator on the way down, I met Suzanne, my future wife, mother of my 2 children, and my grandson, Jackson Mark Weiss, now 4 years old. So I owe him my family and the support he gave me with my photography career. Miss him.
Hi, everybody. It's Eddie Trunk, and I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Bill Aucoin on the 10-year anniversary of his passing. Growing up as a rock fan, still being a rock fan, I knew of Bill, and later on in my career, I got to meet Bill a couple of times, which was such a big thrill. So many of the bands that I loved and still do love, Bill had a huge part in. Kiss, of course, Piper, New England, Stars, all of those bands I was such a big fan of, and I would see Bill's name or logo on the back of those records, and I always knew it was going to be something that I liked. Bill Aucoin, just a larger-than-life presence, groundbreaking presence in the music industry. May he rest in peace.
For example, on Ozfest, I think like most of the nights after our set, actually way after our set, when I was already out of my makeup and out of my gear, we were sitting somewhere behind the trucks. We could hear Ozzy playing in the background, and we were just talking, bullshit and smoking these big-ass cigars together.
Hi, Bob Gruen here, saying I miss Bill Aucoin a lot. I first met him when he was doing the Flipside TV show, actually filming John Lennon, and then it was natural to work together with Kiss. Went to Japan with him a couple of times. He was a great guy to be with and a lot of fun. Always had creative, great ideas. So, Bill, I miss you. I wish you were here, and I hope you get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's 1978, and Desmond Child and Rouge was playing all over New York City. That's when Paul Stanley of Kiss came to see us and asked me to write a song with him. That song was I Was Made for Loving You. And that's the door that got me into the world of Bill Aucoin. Bill was a giant, a legend. He was bigger than life. And when I got to know him, I realized his heart was bigger than life. He was the most wonderful man, and I love him to this day, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities that he brought to my life. Thank you, Bill Aucoin. You'll always be bigger than life and with the biggest heart.
Hi, Chris Caffrey from Sabotage and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It was 40 years ago when I saw my first concert. It was Kiss at Nassau Coliseum. I was just a little kid that saw this rock and roll dream come alive through this band and this magic that was created by the guys in the band and this gentleman we knew as Bill Aucoin. I can't believe it's been 10 years since he's been taken from us, but that magic still lives in all of us. And every time I reach that stage on Nassau Coliseum with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, I always remember that magical night, and I always will. And thank you in the heavens, Mr. Aucoin, for everything that you've continued to do to all of us through our lives.
Hey, this is John 5, and Bill, we love you, we miss you, and thank you so much for what you did for the music industry and what you created. Long live Bill Aucoin.
So to Bill, to his life and his legacy, Nastrovia.
Bill, 10 years later, we remember you, we still love you as if you were with us. And you know what? And you truly are still with us. Cheers.
God, we miss him. We love him. I love him. And, the world could really use Bill Aucoin right about now. Cheers.
Onward and upward. Onward and upward.
Rock on, Bill. Miss you. Bye.
Hell no, I won't go. Please don't you take my home. I'm far all alone, and please don't you take my home. Home is wherever you are. Home can be out in the stars. Home can be Venus or Mars. Home can be broken or safe. And even if I lose my home, sent to kiss your face. So just close those eyes and know you're not alone. Sooner or later, I hope you understand. I hope you realize it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. Feel this wall too high to climb. You feel this hole too deep to fill. So allay those fears, dry those tears. Gotta start the healing with an angel's hand. Sooner or later, I hope you understand.